Alright, hey everyone. Let me show you something interesting going on with my buddy's Brymen BM239R multimeter. So, he brought this in a couple of days ago because, well, he bought it like a year ago and he didn't basically use it at all apart from temperature probe and, you know, just checking some mains voltage here and there. But now he needed to do some resistance measurements. And, well, it just reset. It's interesting. I think the battery's not seated properly. There we go. So he needed to do some resistance measurements, and this is what happens. So, you know, nothing happens, right? Every other function works alright. Look at the continuity buzzer. It's really fast and crisp, right? Even, like, voltage is fine. Let's plug this in DC mode and plug this up top to the power supply that's, you know, charging a battery over there. That's fine. So resistance mode, it just does that. And if I plug it into, you know, plug it into this decade resistor box over here, right? Nothing happens. A dead short won't do anything. So what's going on? And then I figured, you know, well, actually before he brought it to me, I asked him to, you know, just put in new batteries. You know, sometimes that might happen even if you don't get the little low battery warning. Funky things might happen if the batteries are toast. But anyway, that wasn't the case. He put in new batteries. It's all fine. But the resistance range doesn't work. So then I go and I try, look, I try powering this from my lab power supply, you know, just to see if there's any excessive current draw or anything like that. And we'll do that now, right? So, you know, positive lead goes over here, negative over here. Turn that back over so you can see this. I gotta turn on the power supply. And look, it is working. 200 ohms, 300 ohms, 400 ohms, 500, 600, 1 meg, you know, it's just fine. 100K, it's fine. So what's going on? If we look at the lab power supply, so right now we're on channel 3. It's at the 3.3 volts, which is something that you can't get, well, you can't really get from two AAAs in series. You might when they're extremely fresh, but generally you're going to be at or below 5 volts per cell, and that'll go, you know, 3 volts or less. So if I turn this power supply down to like 3.1 volts, which is, you know, decently charged AA's, and we try to take another resistance measurement. So you see the screen is frozen on 0.6 ohms. I gave it 100K and just does nothing, which is interesting. So anyway, I'm sending this back to Brymen because it's only like a year old, so it's still covered by warranty. We'll see what they have to say. I had an email with one of the guys, and you know, he said that's, you know, incorrect behavior. It might be drawing more current than it's supposed to. But I mean, I'm looking at the power supply over there, and it's reporting 3 milliamps, which is just right in line with what their data sheet says this should draw. So I don't think that's it. From what I've seen, this model is basically the same circuit board as the BM235 that Dave Jones sells on the EEV blog. And, you know, I mean, he's had some troubles with some little inductors over around this area in the early days, but that's not it. I've checked those are fine. Something else is going on, and there's just one monolithic chip right over around here that's doing everything, basically everything. The only thing that's external are the range resistors basically, and the rest, the current sources, the voltage sources, are done inside that monolithic chip with, well, it's got a little charge pump also, but that's about it. I mean, you can't do much about it if that chip is somehow broken, right? It could be it passed binning. They might have tested it at 3.3 volts, which is pretty standard for testing ICs. This chip will go from 2.7 to 5 volts or something like that. So they might have, when they did their QC and their binning, they might have actually tested at 3.3, which is a common supply voltage for lab stuff, but it's not for two AA's in series, two AAA's in series. So I'm thinking somewhere along those lines, something is messed inside the chip. I did measure the compliance voltage and current for the resistance range. It is putting out something. I'm not sure what the proper values should be. I'm reading something like half a volt through a 10 amp shunt on the through a 0.1 ohm shunt on the Keithley. But if I'll ask the guy from Brymen if he can give me some more information about what was wrong, if they're going to debug this, but I don't think so. I think they're just going to run a quick test, bin it, and either replace the main board or just send a whole new unit, because it's usually not worth the effort. So anyway, that's it. I thought this was an interesting flaw in how it works at 3.3 volts somehow. But it doesn't work with on battery power. So yeah, be careful about this. Always test your meter when you get it. So if you get a new meter, just run it through its paces. Just play around with it. Try to see if anything is wrong with it. It never hurts. All right. Have a good one.